All right, so welcome to today's cooking demo. Today's demo is more of an assembly demo because honestly I already made the cookie dough, because if we demonstrated from start to finish, this would be a very, very long cooking demo and we couldn't do it in the space, and not everybody will fit by the ovens in the kitchen. So we're going to do some kitchen-y swap outs because I've got some cookies already baked behind me and next to me. So I'm going to show you 4 different ways that you can take regular sugar cookie dough and turn them into 4 different types of cookies. And if you count the classic sugar cookie with the cookie cutters and just the vanilla icing on it, I mean, that's a whole 5th other way. So there's lots of things you can do with one dough. There you go. I believe it was last year. So the dough I'm using today, we actually did a cooking demo before just for this basic sugar cookie dough. So you can see that on our YouTube channel. But all the basic ingredients are here for a sugar cookie dough, except the butter, because it needed to hang out in the fridge if I wasn't going to use it. So we've got flour, sugar, baking powder, vanilla, and our recipe is part Crisco, part butter, and a smidge of salt. So basic sugar cookie waiting to happen. Put that all together, stick it in the fridge to chill, then you can begin rolling and cutting out your favorite shaped cookies. My favorite shaped cookie, my favorite shape is we have a sweater design, because sometimes my family likes to make a bunch of those and then we sit around having an ugly sweater cookie contest. And we all try to decorate cookies with the wackiest design possible. Yeah, but the best part is you get to eat all the evidence. So I will say the men, the school-aged children do much better than the men in my family. The men in my family just take handfuls of things and just kind of pour it all on the cookie, and it looks like something exploded. It's okay. It's all right. But we have fun, and that's the important part. All right, so there's 2 packages of dough, but I'm going to split them in half. So we're going to kind of model smaller portions.
I made the dough like that, and then we had the recipe we were looking at was the York pepper patty Christmas cookies, and you take like a cup and a half of morsels chocolate chips, and dump them into a microwavable bowl and stick them in the microwave and let them melt. And then you add the chocolate morsels
to the magical thing.
And then you mix it all up, and then you take the York pepper patties and take a piece of the chocolate and then fold it over the pepper patties.
That sounds tasty, even if it doesn't work out well. All right, so the first example is most people think sugar cookies, they think vanilla, right? Yeah. Well, of course you can play with that and have different flavors. So we're going to make a chocolate sugar cookie. This works really well and is much easier on your wrist and your shoulder if you do it when it's in the mixer. Don't have a mixer here at the Senior Center, so we're doing a small batch with a fork. So it might not all get completely worked in, but you'll get the idea, pretending my arm is the good old mixer. All right? So for the amount of dough that we have today, I'm going to chuck in 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now, if you really like chocolate, you can add more. And of course, if you were doing the full batch, you're going to do more. And not everybody likes chocolate. I don't understand that at all. I think people who don't like chocolate, I worry about them.
They prefer the white chocolate.
Some don't even like white chocolate. But we are just going to mix it up. And of course, the cocoa, it gets kind of ornery. So it likes to fight back. It's already tried to attack me. It's left the bowl. You end up inhaling the cocoa powder. We can make all the inhaling jokes about cocoa powder that we would like to. Feel free amongst yourselves to make cocoa powder jokes. See, I've got you going now. And so what you're going to get is, if you've ever made brownies before, your cookie dough is going to kind of look like a very stiff brownie batter is what it's going to end up looking like. You guys can see it starting to get that way. Ta-da! All right, magic of television. So once you get it all made up, you're going to carefully, very carefully, wipe up your cocoa powder so you don't get it in every other cookie you make today. There we go. You would scoop it out by the spoonful onto your cookie sheet, okay? I like to push, because sugar cookies don't have a lot of leavening agents in them. They're meant to stay flat, because when you press them out, you don't want the shapes to change. So I pat them down a little bit so they don't just get like this volcano shape to them. So I pat my little balls of chocolate cookie dough down a little bit, and then I baked them. This is my magical TV swap out. Ta-da! Pretend they just came off a cookie sheet. Ta-da! We let them cool. So these ones I probably could have gotten a little more aggressive with the cocoa. These are like a milk chocolate hot cocoa. They're very light on the chocolate, and I'm a big chocolate fan, so I could have definitely put another tablespoon of chocolate in these. And they're fine. They look, it's a cookie. You might eat it. Somebody says, is it burnt? You're like, no, it's just a chocolate cookie. But this itself is kind of like, it's okay. But when we think of Christmas, we think of kind of fancier looking cookies, right? We want a little pizzazz with that cookie. Some sprinkles and different colored frostings and all kinds of things. So I'm going to take, works pretty well on a wire rack. I'm just using parchment paper today. And where'd I hid it from myself.
That's what my sister uses.
All right. And so one thing you can do, just to take a break from the frosting, if you frosted all the other sugar cookies, to make these a little different, you can melt some chocolate and put it in a little Ziploc bag. You cut just a small corner of the tip off, and then you've made a piping bag. And so you can start to squirt. Look at that. Okay. And you just sit here and you just kind of make a mess. Woo! All right, so the purpose isn't to make a mess. The purpose is to get some chocolate on the cookies in some kind of fun design that you like. La da 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 da. Of course, if you want to add some color, if your name is Rhonda, you can certainly come back and then throw some sprinkles on top or do something additionally creative. See if I can get them to stay in place. So then your cookies look like fancy chocolate cookies that you paid $5 more for at the store than the regular box of cookies. All right, so yes, very, very tasty. Oh, there you go, fanciness. All right, so we're going to put these ones off to the side. So that was step one. Of course, we said that, you could do that with chocolate cookies. You can also do it with the vanilla plain sugar cookies. You can, instead of using white chocolate, they actually make candy melts in a variety of colors. I have some red and green and yellow. So you can get all kinds of colored chocolate that melts really quickly in the microwave, and then you can use that. And so you can have colorful chocolate-covered vanilla cookies if you would like to do that with a regular cookie instead of the chocolate. All right. Chocolate's going to go away for a minute. Next cookie. Pretty easy. Does anyone like snickerdoodles? Yeah. Okay. And why do you like a snickerdoodle?
The dumpling bite.
The dumpling. Not how you like to eat it. What is it about a snickerdoodle? And he's just like, it's a cookie and I like it. Is it that kind of cinnamon sugar outer coating?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. So you can actually make your sugar cookies, give a nod to the snickerdoodle without changing doughs. You just got to make that. I'm sorry, I like a lot of cinnamon.
Even I like
I'm serious, okay, with the cinnamon. All right, so you can do it in a bowl. I'm using it in a plate today. It's a little flatter for the camera for you guys to see. So just a little sugar and a little cinnamon. And trust me, whatever extra you have, yes, you can keep and put it on your toast. You don't have to throw out any unused cinnamon sugar mixture. So we're just getting that blended together. And we're going to bring out that other batch of cookie dough. So at home, I have a melon baller, and my melon baller is my best friend when it comes to cookies, because to me it makes the perfect cookie size, so I'm always scooping things with my melon baller. Today I'm going to get a little dirty, and I'm going to just do it by hand, a little help with a knife, just to try to make them the same amount of cookie dough. All right, because if you're baking, you're going to get dirty, right? You just got to own it, right? It's just going to happen. Make sure those hands are clean and get to it. So then you roll your cookie dough in a ball, just like you would a snickerdoodle, and then you're going to roll it around in that sugary mixture. I like to put a little extra on top and pound it in because I want to make sure that it's got quite a bit on there. I'd rather see it fall off afterwards than, and then you just put the little cinnamon sugar coins. That's kind of what they look like, a little cinnamon sugar coin. So this recipe for the sugar cookies, and I did all these cookies at the same temperatures, 400 degrees, for somewhere between 9 and 11 minutes. So it depends on how big your cookie sheet and how many cookies you're putting in at a time. Like these are really big cookie sheets, so I can put more cookies on them, so it's probably going to take longer to bake than if you've got a smaller one at home. All right, so I'll just here. I think you guys get my point of what's happening here. Da, 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 da. All right, and of course, if you want, if you like spicy cookies, you could add a little black pepper or a little red cayenne pepper to really make it a spiced cookie. Or if you are a big pumpkin pie spice fan, because you get, if you're making pies at Thanksgiving, you have that jar of pumpkin pie spice that sits around in the cupboard and doesn't get used for anything else. Throw some of that in here. It's got cinnamon, but also have like nutmeg and clove. So you're going to get even a warmer, spicy, desserty flavor cookie. So it'll be really good. And you can try that out. All right. You get to see what the finished product looks like it in, but so the little balls, I just flattened them out into little cones, and they're covered in sugar and cinnamon. Dun, dun, dun. All right. And again, those would go in the oven to bake a batch. Like one cookie sheet full would be, 9 to 11 minutes. For this cookie sheet, I'd probably go 12. It's a really big cookie sheet. All right. And of course, I can't leave it there. I said 4, right? So we're only halfway done. I made this dough. I just made it ahead so we weren't sitting here for 2 hours.
Oh, I see.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to cut this last ball of dough in half because we've got 2 more cookie types to go. Just a little dramatic effect. Skewer the dough. And plop it in. There you go. It's a little drama among friends. Okay. All right. And again, you can do, if you were making larger batches of, you just wanted to do just one of these flavors, you could do all of this in the blender and not divide it up into small portions. But the reason why I think it's kind of fun to make, like I did a double batch. So I kept half of it for the demo today. And then the cookies you're going to eat was the other half. So we're getting, during the holidays, there's lots of gatherings, you get people coming over, or you're giving presents, and all that baking can be a lot of work. So here you're making one dough and just presenting it 4 different ways. So you get to see, 4 different types of cookies. It makes it look like you went to a lot more effort to make all those different types of cookies. They don't have to know it didn't take as much effort, okay? I'm just saying. We can be creative. It looks really pretty on a platter. So that's kind of why we're doing 4 different out of one type of dough. All right. So our next one, does anybody like peppermint or mint flavored things? See, this would be fun. If you like mint and chocolate, you could have had mint into the chocolate cookies.
I ate the whole bag of Joe Cooker patty for myself.
Well, that's good to know. Oh, and I'm wearing it, so I get to smell like mint. So just a couple drops of mint, because you can do too much mint, and then your cookie's going to taste like mouthwash. You don't want that.
Ew.
You know, too much mint can be a bad thing. So just a few drops, and I love extracts. They get everywhere. I'm covered in mint right now, and I didn't even do anything. Do you guys smell it? It's like scratch and sniff baking right now. Woo! I just smell so minty. But everywhere I go, there's so many people in the back. I mean, it could be worse. I would rather smell like mint than some other things in life. All right. I do like to make fudge.
My friend's daughter's making fudge for all the family.
Ooh. I'm not a divinity fan.
I love
All right.
fudge.
Now, when you guys came in, you guys were wondering what Michelle was doing with the hammer, and we made a lot of jokes, but she was helping me bake. She was, because she crushed up my peppermint for me. So if you're feeling frustrated at the holidays, take a hammer to some peppermints. It's very therapeutic. And we're going to put ours in her cookie. And I triple bagged it, because the one thing when you start pounding on candy, see, oh, look, I pulled that bag out. You can see a hole was in it, because it turns into little shards, and it just cuts right through the plastic bag. So you want to make sure, see, it's coming kind of powdery dust forming. All right, and so there are some bigger chunks. I'm just scooting them off to the side and coming after the smaller crumbly bits, and I'm putting them in. So we did that mint extract, and now we're putting in some peppermint, because I think the red adds kind of a fun color. It makes a beautiful visual on the cookie, adds some interest. Of course, it adds some more peppermint. Again, this is why you can take it easy with the peppermint. The extract, because you're adding more peppermint. So be careful. All right. And then once again, you've got to put that, you have to burn the calories from eating all of the cookies. Get the elbow grease in there. Not real grease. Well, take a walk around the block. But not while the cookies are in the oven, okay? All right. Got to wait for the cookies to get out of the oven before you go for a walk. There you go. All right, and once again, I would generally use my melon baller to get out the perfect size scoop, but you can use a spoon, you can use all kinds of things to, scoop your perfectly little round balls of dough. If you want them really uniform, you can, you can use some spoons.
You can even put a glass on top of your cookies too.
You can squish it with the bottom of a glass.
Overnight cookie.
There's a lot of different ways you can make a cookie, the shape you want it to be.
Yeah.
All right, so,
Anybody like peanut butter blossoms?
yes.
Oh, God, those two.
All right, so once again, I'm just going to squish them a little bit. And then I like to, just to make sure they have some of that pretty red on top, I like to come back with a little more peppermint and put a little bit more on top. Because sometimes when you roll it up in there, it gets lost in the cookie. There we go. So there's our little peppermint ones. They look nice and innocent, but you guys can attest it smells like peppermint in this room. All right, so that's our peppermint cookie. So we've done chocolate, we've done cinnamon sugar, and we've done peppermint. What else flavors of, can we do, Rebecca? More, of course. And this one is kind of my favorite. I won't lie. I like things that taste like lemon. I know lemon is not traditionally thought of as a Christmas flavor, but there are a lot of citrus notes in some of the foods that we eat, and it's kind of refreshing, honestly, because we can get a lot of peppermint, a lot of chocolate going on this time of year. So sometimes it's nice to have something different. And these look pretty. And you don't have to use lemon. So we are doing a take on a thumbprint cookie. So a thumbprint cookie is a dough. Yes, put your finger in it and then put some jam in that hole. All right. Really technical, hard stuff. So I love me some, this is one of my new favorite things. It's a lemon lime curd. And curd is kind of a fancy type of jam that's, it's just got a special texture to it. And I really like it, and I've kind of hooked some friends on it, so I thought I would make some thumbprint cookies like that. So this time, You don't have to do anything to the dough. You can certainly use just your basic sugar cookie dough. If you want to, you could add a little lemon juice or a little lemon extract or strawberry if you wanted to put some strawberry jam in there. There's probably raspberry extract out in the universe that's, I can't imagine, actually from a raspberry, but you could put that in there. I'm pretty sure it'd probably turn your dough pink, and that's fine. And then you could put raspberry jam in, so you could, have fun playing with different fruit flavors.
Don't you put the jam in the last thing that you put the jam after you put the pepper, and then put the jam in there, don't you?
Yep, you don't put the jam in there before you put your thumb in there, because then it's just going to run down the sides of the ball. So I'm just pinching off some cookie dough. You want to make sure that, they have, I won't say it, they're not huge, but have a good little size to them, because you are going to stick your finger in there. And you want a big enough well to be able to put some of the jam in it. All right. And my trick, because sugar cookie dough is a little bit stickier than the shortbready kind of dough you might use for a thumbprint cookie regularly. So keep some water handy. Put your finger in the water, then put your finger in the cookie. Come back to the water, and then in the cookie. And when you do that, you don't get all the cookie dough stuck to your finger.
Right.
If you sit there and do cookie dough, eventually the cookie dough is sticking to your finger and you can't get it out, which takes all the fun out of it. As long as you're the only one eating the cookies, you can start licking your fingers. But if you're sharing, then you can't lick your fingers. All right, so normally I would use a spoon, but today I'm using the back end of a fork because it's what I've got. So after you put your little fingerprint in the cookie, you just fill that little well with some jam, or in my case, this lemon curd. There you go. Whatever you want in it. All right, I'm not baking anything else, so this is happening. Didn't want to waste it. All right, so there you have it. So those are the three that we're going to bake. Well, I'm going to go bake in a little bit. And then we had the chocolate ones that you saw earlier.